I'm live. Hello, everyone. Very different view for me, as you could probably notice in my browser. Oh, what have I done to myself, right? Either way, let's get set up first, and then we'll talk about all that is happening. We probably will do a lot of a visual update today. I actually made a lot of changes for those of you who haven't watched me in a while for Through the Shatter. Good portion of the game has been locked in. The gameplay feels good. There's some balance stuff that I need to change in terms of like the upgrades, because like things are getting too easy too fast, which may be okay thing, but I want to make sure there's like a feeling of builds and whatnot. So let me just get this music going, make some announcements saying that I am live. There you go. In my ear, the sound. Make sure my mic is set up properly. Hey, Void. Long time no see. All right. Okay, the volume sounds a little bit kind of crazy, so let me reduce that a little bit. I think we're good. We're good. I'm going to open the chat. We got Twitch already set up. So I teased at it a little bit on my general chat, but my dialogue plugin. So I know I have written my dialogue plugin. I've been saying I've been working on trying to improve it, and I have been too busy. And now that I'm used to kind of like using AI as part of my tooling because of my day job, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this out and see. Absolutely ruined my project. Everything is broken. Hey, Daniel. Anyways, but that is not to say like, you know, obviously there's no way for us to check if it was broken or not, because by the nature of GDScript and Godot project, there's no like test framework that are standardized, especially if you're using GDScript. And then I was thinking to myself, I was like, is there a way to run GDScript as like terminal command? And there is, right? Because the headless mode is for that. It's a little, obviously it's like long way to do it, but it's way to utilize actual Godot engine's language processor to run GDScript. So I was like, I'm going to run a headless version of Godot as a binary to run the test cases, because I already had test cases set up, but it was like you have to go to the scene, open the scene, and play the game in order to run the test. So I was like, I'm gonna try to do this like headless thing. So I had like 30 minutes before the stream. I was like, I'm gonna utilize. I think this is like a good point. I already have all the codes and everything. I just needed to like figure out all the nuances to make it run. So I got that going. So I actually have. This is a unit test, or integration test rather, that you can run. That is written in GDScript. And you can run it as shell script. Now, of course, I'm on Windows machine, so it has to be PS1, which is the PowerShell script. But it's pretty cool. It's like, look, I can just run it. It runs the test, and this is all written in GDScript, so it uses my dialog plugin, the JSON file. It has assertion and everything. So I think this is pretty neat. Is there anyone who's gonna need this particular functionality? Probably not, because like at this point, why not just use C#, I guess? But for me, I'm like, because I want to stick with GDScript, and I can do it. So, Daniel Pancake says, have you ever tried Scala? No, I haven't. I've heard of it. Isn't it for math, typically? Hold on. Stream viewer, I'm live now. Twitch. Some minor feature ads, and probably mostly visual updates. Oh, and another news, I reached out to Freddie, who's a musician for my past project that I contracted out for. The unfinished, what is it? Was it Into the Void or something like that, I think? No, it wasn't Into the Void. It was a Dread on Arrival. It was Dread on Arrival. And you know, Freddie did a great job making the vibe and music of it, so I reached out to him, and we're going to chat on Monday to do the sound for Through the Shatter. So I'm excited for that. But either way, so those are all those things. Yes, voice has dread. Yeah. Daniel says, I recall you say you worked in Java before, right? So most of my professional career I worked with Java. Right now I'm using Golang in my current job, which I'm getting used to. It feels weird to use it. And obviously I've done a lot of GDScript. Hey, Kevin. I said Kevin. Kevin, RPB. Hello, howdy. Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. I was just showcasing my GDScript unit test. So let me show you my test, what it looks like. I haven't really. So we have a test folder. As you can see, I'm using Kiro here. Ooh, right? I mean, I'm using Kiro because I'm using Kiro at work right now. So I just got introduced to this. So look at this. I have a GDScript that is a test command. And this runs as headless scripting via running the script only version of. There were a lot of bugs, but it's pretty cool. I love it. We get to do awaits and like start the test. We get to assert responses. I think this is golden, so I'm gonna probably push this in right now. Let's see. Get to the here. Commit. I mean, the PowerShell script might be a problem. It says warning, and the working copy of CRLF will be replaced LF the next time Git touches it. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not, but we'll see. Adding a run test GD script that is meant to be ran as testing headless Godot script to run the test in terminal. Hopefully we're still on dev. That's good. Not sure says hello. Hey, Osama says hello, Ezra. How are you? How's work and game development going? It's going well. Work's been pretty chill. Luckily, I mean, I'm still fully remote there, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm still finding energy to stream, and most importantly, we have to finish our game, right? So that's what we're going to do today. We're probably going to do some visual updates. Hey, Mikori. E1 Site says, finish him. Finish me? Finish what? Yeah, finish me. What? Daniel Pancake says, Scala is a functional general purpose language run in JVM. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. It has a strong testing framework. That's why I asked. I see. Testing framework is always important if you're launching or making anything that is public facing, I think. I mean, if it's like private projects, it's not as important. Conic says, oh my god, is this real developer Ezra? This is the realist developer Ezra. Okay, hold on. I was doing something. Oh, yes. I was making a pinned comment. Let me see. Go wish list now. And then I'm going to do the through the shatter here. Steam page. On Steam, we gotta spam bunch of websites so that when people search shatter or through the something or game, our game page comes up on top. We gotta do some what do you call the search engine? What the heck? Why won't it let me pin? Search engine hack. Hi, Mikori. You'd be interested to find out what I just did. By the way, Mikori, for my dialogue plugin. Let's see. Go wish list now. And I'll show you a little bit. As I said, those keen will be interested in what I'm seeing here. Anyone cites this up. We already read that. Voices. Oh yeah, as the Godot Live 2D add-on that was built when I try to create a new scene, Godot crashes. I tested it with different versions. The same thing happened. Wait, what's Live 2D? That sounds familiar. I'm sorry, you have to give me context. My brain is a little foggy right now. Connie says, what are you testing exactly? This is my dialogue plugin that I released long time ago, and I was ready to make some improvements, finally do the localization feature, and then do a renewed look to it so I can go through and make a new video on it. Because, I mean, people might feel that, like, it's 2 years old now, so it might feel a little bit outdated. So I was trying to update it, slash make it more resilient, slash all that. In the process of it, I thought, so at work, we use Kiro for obvious reasons. I'm not going to say much. But anyways, I got used to it. It's okay. I'm getting used to using AI as part of my workflow. I still look at every single change it makes. It makes a lot of mistakes. Makes a lot of stupid mistakes. It deletes things that it shouldn't. It adds things that shouldn't. Anyways, besides the point. So I was like, you know what? Between my game project, work, content making, and everything, this is one thing that I want to try and see if I can utilize AI to help me. So at first I was like, okay, well, give me documentation. Here are some bugs. Here are some things. Fix it. It did it. Absolutely decimated my project. Everything broken, right? Obviously. And part of the problem was that there was no way for anything like myself or the AI itself to verify some of the tests in a more concrete way. So I was mulling over how am I going to make it so that I can run my existing tests, which I was manually running through the scene. I was opening Godot engine and run the test scene in order to have this like print output of test results. And I was thinking about that, and I found out finally. I mean, I didn't find out. I knew about this, but I don't know why I didn't think about it. You can run Godot headless, so do that, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna run Godot headless and write a GD script that runs all the normal tests, but then I'm able to do it. Kevin says, everyone around me moved off of Kiro already. Oh, well, look. This is the benefit. I know Kiro is just Claude Repr anyway, so if you're going to use it, might as well use Claude for the newest feature, blah, 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 blah. One thing that I did notice is that the Kiro is more token efficient, meaning it may not have all the most recent bells and whistles, but it's cheaper. which given what I use it for, that's all matters. Like, I don't need it to do all the fancy stuff. I just need it to do standard stuff as cheap as possible, because most of the management and control, I take care of it anyways. So whatever. So I got it running, which is cool. Okay. I don't have a tilde key on this what do you call? There it is. So here it is. Ready, Mikori? So this is a GD script with the, shebang on top. So I can actually run the script through the shell script. So I have the test called, unfortunately, I'm on Windows machine, so I have to do the PowerShell script. And I can run the script, and it runs a GD script code, which runs the test, actually. And this is an expected error. So I have error here, which is like, I have one of the tests that's meant to actually output error, and then I can verify it. I have a process now. I can actually make pipeline for this. So yeah, that's what I did. This is fun. But that's just that. We're going to go back to, so I'm going to continue working on this. That'll be my quote unquote AI assisted project. I'm not going to do that for my main project, obviously. So we'll see. But yeah, it broke a lot of things. But you know what's funny? It broke a lot of things. It assumed a lot of things. It broke everything. As soon as I got the test running, it fixed everything. So it's really important to have a closely, especially if I'm noticing that if you're using AI as part of your process, you really need to monitor and have like well printed out, like good error messaging and result messaging and all those things in test, because somehow the stupid AI needs to know exactly what your intention of code is, because otherwise it's going to make it up. I mean, even with the test, sometimes it makes it up. I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyways, so that's something I'm noticing and learning. Kevin says, this is neat. Thanks, I appreciate that. Kevin says, the most token efficient is no AI. Exactly. And that's why I've been not using it for the longest time. But, you know, I'm on a free tier with 50 tokens. And I'm not going to improve it. Celestial Horizons Studio says, hi, I'm new here. I'm not programmer, and I've only been learning Godot for a while now. Hey, welcome here. This is a place to be. We're going to learn together. Well, I'm always learning. I say I'm a forever student, but hopefully if you have any questions, you can ask and you can learn. Otherwise, go to the pinned comment and wish list now. We're going to do some visual updates and game updates today. I'll show you the progress so far for those of you who's joining me for the first time or first time in a while. Let's see. Voice says, so I wanted to test live 2D animations in Godot. Hold on, I gotta look this up. Godot live 2D, yeah, because I'm not really sure what this is, but I'm gonna continue reading what you're saying. Basically, animate in live 2D, then control the animations in Godot. Oh, is live 2D the what do you call the? I feel like I've heard this for people who's doing what is that thing called where you're streaming with a animated character? Gosh, VTubing. It's for VTubing, right? Yeah. I was able to build an add-on following the instruction, but now I can't create new scenes. I see. Ooh, that would be good though. I was actually thinking about, okay, by the way, this is funny. I was talking with my friend. I was like, I'm doing streaming, but I heard about people getting in trouble for like working and doing stream at the same time by saying blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's why. And he was like, that's why there are things like VTubing. You can't just hide your identity via the VTubing. And I was like, that's a good point. But what if, how funny would it be if I do a VTubing, but then the model is exact replica of myself? Like it looks just like me and you would, that would be so funny. Anyways, Mikri says, ooh, that's cool. Kevin says, this is neat. Oh, we already had that conversation. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Boy says, I'll have to rebuild it. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm looking forward to it. Tell me more about it. Share it in our Discord and all that. We love Godot-related projects here anyways. Hey, Aaron, I haven't seen you in a while. Aaron says, Billions will wishlist the Godot Fest guys game. What? What Godot Fest guy? I don't know what you're talking about. But hi. VTubing. Yeah, everybody's like, VTubing, it's called VTubing. Voices, yeah. Kevin says, I've been basically forced into using one of these clankers at work. Yesterday, I asked it to go over 50 or so URLs and write some text based on their content. It took me 15 iteration of read all the URLs, and you're right. I only read some of them before it did the thing right. Not loving the experience. No, honestly, I do think that people need to use it sparingly. Like, it does make things easier in some sense, but people are using it way too much in everything, which is making things really bad. I shared this story last stream or last week. I had my first document review. I joined my first document review in this company. So like, well, I mean, I've done it before because I've worked here before. But so I have a comparison between document review before AI and document review after AI. So I was reviewing someone else's design doc on the tech or plan. And I was like, hey, what happened? This used to be like, you have to like mull over what to keep in the documentation. You have to be like 1-pager. I mean, if you're lucky, maybe 6-pager. And then like, you got to be very concise. All the information has to be relevant, thought out. And what you're presenting to me is like option A or B. And here are some addendums if I need to read why, and it needs to be organized in ways that is human consumable. Obviously, they use AI to write most of them, and I'm like, this is a problem. There's way too much information here. Before, you couldn't write all this in the given time, so you wouldn't have written all this. You would have had more like sensible organization for people to read. But now that you've used AI to write this, it's like it's got so much information that I'm like, you allotted 1 hour for this. It takes like 3 hours to read this. Like there's no way. Yeah. So I'm seeing that problem. And I think people who's coming from the olden days knows this. And even if those people are using AI, they would know to be like, hey, cut that out. Nobody will read this. But people who are kind of new with like, they grew up on this would be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do it. Like to a point where I'm like, are you reading this? Have you read this before you started this? Or like, what's going on? I feel like I'm just seeing a brain dump here. So I don't know. That's just a complaint. This is just an old man complaining before I get into making the game here. We're gonna check because we haven't seen each other in a while. I mean, it's really nice to see Mikori here. Really nice to see Void. Because I think I don't see you guys when I'm streaming late night. Usama, VTuber. Google is the best AI, except it doesn't speak. Yeah, Google Fu is not to be confused with Google's Gemini AI, because Google's Gemini AI is not the best AI by far, but for sure, the ability to Google search. Aaron says, "Am I confusing you with someone else? All I remember is your nickname from me was Godot something." I think for me. No, you're not. You used to come here and say, hey, this is the guy from the Godot Fest. That's what you used to say. I'm the same guy. Kevin says, this is so true. For some reason, people still call it one pager and like what? It's like 7 pages. Yeah, way too much information. It's like now the new kids on the block are saying stuff like this, okay? I go, oh, what about this consideration? And they go, have you asked the AI on the doc? What? What are you saying? It's your doc, dude. It's your doc. I just found that so funny. I'm like, yeah, sure, but like, aren't you doing the work? Yeah, it's so funny. It's a weird time to be living in. Let's see. Sorry if I'm being too loud. I'm a little excited. Voice says it's not easier, just faster, and way too fast for its own good. Like take time and make it good. Rather now it's too fast and trying everything. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does get overwhelming to review everything. So far at work, I have been taking my time to use it to do knowledge dump on myself. Ask follow-up questions to do it. Verify in the code and documentation. Plus, when I'm doing the feature, I look at every single diff. And it makes some critical mistakes. It also makes some assumptions based on the pre-existing pattern, which sometimes is a bad pattern. And it's like, because like, what do? Do you make it biased towards already existing pattern? Or do you make it biased towards improvement? And if so, how far? Because that's a kind of heuristic decision, right? It's not like, okay, it's blanketed, it's just better, so you do it. But at the same time, if you do that, it's way too much change architecturally and overall that there's so much to review that you're running up the risk of failure. But at the same time, if you're just following the pre-existing pattern, later when you say, I want to migrate this to a new pattern, then you go, well, there's like bazillion things to migrate. And now that's also hard to review. So it's like some of the balance, I think, work comes from experience. And I think if you are someone who's not have had that experience, it's tough. Voice says, Ezra abandoned us for night viewers. Not true. I'm here. I do night viewing. I'm still looking into doing it during the day. I have been experimenting with working early and then kind of managing meetings. But then at the same time, like I can't reject meetings just because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do this afternoon meeting because I plan on streaming. That just seems irresponsible as a worker. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But at least I'm here on Saturdays, kind of. Every other Saturday, I think. Boy says no pressure. Yeah, it's true. Let's see. Kevin says, my experience so far is that it saves exactly no time for writing design docs unless you are not reviewing the doc, in which case you mentioned happens. Yeah, no, I feel like it happens even more so because people are not used to giving themselves a deadline, especially the younger kids. So they just do it. They put a deadline by putting the meeting on the calendar. They rely on AI to gather all the information, and it looks pretty, and you understand some sections. So, like, people are getting lazy where they're not actually reviewing the whole thing. They're doing just like skipping around, confirming. So I can tell that they don't actually know every single word that is going into the documentation. So if we point it out, and like they're like learning it for the first time, which seems a little odd to me. And that's a pattern that we need to move away from for sure. Kevin says, I've had to call out people because I'll ask them something and they'll straight up run my question through Kiro and copy paste it in response back to me. Yeah, I mean, I kind of joked about that the other day. I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I guess that's where you just have the agent and the side. But like, you will start to get to a point where like you're talking a bunch of BS. You're talking a bunch of BS. You have to verify that it makes sense. Lazy town out here. The quality is so bad. Anyways, that's it. That's my rant. It's nice. Don't trust it fully. That's always But however, you know, Le Ginger Dev, speaking of vibe coding, I guess. Remember Le Ginger Dev who released All Hail the Orb, and I played the game here. He's made, I think, 100-something thousand sales so far, or dollars worth of sales, which is really successful, right? I mean, yeah, 50% of it goes to the publisher, and then and like 20% of it goes to Steam. So he's not really getting the huge cut, but very positive. Apparently, he's a streamer as well. He says he didn't verify anything. He just vibe coded the whole thing. I don't know what that means for him because it depends. So there's that, and he said he made that in 4 months. So whatever. I think I can beat that. This game right now, we're on our 3rd month now, and we're kind of getting to the demo part. So we'll see. A little race, no pressure. If you're here, Legendary Dev, I don't think you're here. No bad blood here. I've always wanted to do this. One of the content that I've been looking for from people is that like I want to do a race between like fully vibe coders versus like the traditional programmers to do a little like game jam competition, kind of friendly, but we'll see. Maybe now this is the future. I'll do a series on using AI responsibly series at some point, because I think that's kind of important now. All right, let me show you the game, morning people. So I've added this thing called Sanctuary, and Sanctuary right now gives you choice of 3 bonuses, or one of the 3 bonuses, which is speed. So you get +1 movement per exploration within the exploration, or +1 heart, or +1 max provision. So max heart, max provision. Very typical. So I did that because I wanted to give a reason for people to still risk and explore deeper, and it heals you entirely. And so that means even if you're about to die, if you find this sanctuary in this node, you're golden. So I think it encourages and feels good. Only problem is that the speed, the upgrades are a little too strong. Getting a heart, getting a provision on every node makes it so that like the game becomes like trivial so quickly. So what I'm going to do, I want to make it so that these are shards instead. So you know how like in Hollow Knight, you collect 3 mask shards and then get 1 health, or like you get 2 of certain things to get max energy. So in that similar sense, I think I'm gonna make it so that the speed takes 5 collection to make a whole upgrade, and then the max provision takes 2 collection to fully upgrade, and then maybe the heart would be either 2 or 3 as well. But you can see right here the sanctuary, and I'll show you. I used the dialogue plugin for that one because I already set up the dialogue and I didn't want to make a new UI, but maybe that's something that I can figure out. Direct Equine. So yeah, see? I'm fully healed. I got a +1 movement now from that. And then that's like on almost every node. Says, why are you not under pressure? Why am I not under pressure? I'm always under pressure. That's the truth of it. But I'm saying no pressure. No pressure for me. And then we got some stories here. We can do some upgrades. I got to revisit some of these upgrades so that it plays nicely with the sanctuary upgrades as well. So that's something that we're working on. Some of these some visual updates that are pending for us. So yeah. I think we're gonna do that. We're probably, I think it could be cool. It could be cool to also come up with more upgrades that are, whoa. 7 out of 6, that's a bug. Why are you doing that suddenly? Okay, there's some bugs here. I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, and then another thing is that now the exploration is continuable, meaning you can revisit and then all the discovery you've made so far is there, and then you can go there. I just feel like this, like, we need to indicate if the upgrades are accessed or not. Maybe like if the sanctuary has been already used, we need to have some sort of marker for it. Derek Aquin says, do you know who Pokimane is? You look her neighbor she hangs out with. Oh, no, I don't know who that is. I'm not a neighbor to Pokimane. Well, I know who Pokimane is, or Pokemon. It's Iman, actually. But, no, I'm not her neighbor. No. that's kind of low-key racist. Oh, also, what happened to this connection? Oh yeah, I didn't do the connection where it resets the temporary one, so there's that bug as well. So there are a few bugs here, but overall gameplay wise it looks good. So let's do some visual updates. I want to make an item for heart upgrades, the speed upgrades, and then the provision upgrade. And so I'm going to make a single icon that shows like the artifact where it shows upgrades. And then you can collect 1, 2, 3 to get like, make it, you know, become whatever. So that's what I'm going to write here real quick. So far, voice says Pokemon. Yeah, it's word, joke on the word Pokemon. And I think her real name is Iman or something like that. And that's how it's pronounced, but that's just Pokemon. But everybody calls Pokimane. But do I know her? No, I don't. All right. So first of all, Exhausted Sanctuary. What does the Exhausted Sanctuary look like? And that's the question. Maybe we could just grayscale it, or should there be like glow on the sanctuary that disappears? Maybe. And then we said we're going to create this like fragments of heart. So obviously we can say, all right, let's see. Heart fragment. We want to stay on theme. So right now we're very much like crystal focus. So I still want it to be some version of the crystal. So maybe we could have like a heart crystal. And And then we can have speed crystal and all those things. And that's what we're gonna remain on theme, especially because the whole thing about it being a shattered world, I think it'll invoke the feeling of everything here is thematically things that have been broken, that has broken down, and you're finding the pieces in order to bring it all together. I think that's pretty thematically poetic and appropriate, I would think. So here we are. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're gonna make it. Let's see. The item could look something like this, and then we'll make it look kind of crystallized with some sort of like outline here. So let's say this one is like this, right? And then we're going to have to make it a little bit more gem-like. It's going to be a little tough, but we're taking the challenge here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of like that. Maybe some sort of something like this would give that illusion, potentially. So I see some potential here. Then we'll make some angles here, a little bit more centric. And then perhaps we can put like the halfway point here and then have this like point down. We got a kind of line that points down. And then like that, something like this more, so that it looks less like jagged rock, but more crystalline. And then we're going to add some shading and things to make it a little bit more gem-like. But this is the process. Cool Guy says, hey again, dude. Hi, Cool Guy. Welcome. We're just chilling out here, as we be doing. I think this might be appropriate. Then we can do something like that. I think this could look okay like this. And then we're going to make the faces feel a little bit flatter. So we'll say something like, let's say depending on where the light is coming from. Are we choosing top right? Well, we got glare on the left side here. I guess it doesn't really matter. Consistency. So we can do, I think, this. And then do some of this like that. Yeah. I think we got some here. And then it's already starting to come together a little bit, right? You see the vision, I think. And I think what we do need to know, we're going to go back to our references, our pixel art references, and there's a gem section. So I'm going to use that as kind of the information that'll provide me. So if I go to my art pixel art tutorial thing, there is a gem. There it is. So we got the idea of a polished and faceted or cruff. That's fine. You got these reflection here. Focus on making the facets, remove lines, basic shading, add refraction. So we're doing basic shading and then we're adding refraction. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Okay, so you're doing the shading first of the object and then add the refraction. So we'll do that. So we'll remove the lines like so. We're probably gonna use darker color here. So we're gonna do basic shading here, and then we'll add the refraction afterwards. Let's do that like that. We're gonna simplify the shape. Simplify the shape. We want to make this part a little brighter, I think. And then we want to make this still like that. Maybe we'll go from the brightest like that. From top, we'll bend out like this. Maybe we have this like that. Like so. And then, yeah, see? Tutorial helps a lot. We might even choose even darker color for this. I like the high chroma look to it, so probably keep that like so. Boom. I might have to get rid of the outline, but we'll see how we're going to do that part. Kool says, this stream is perfect background noise for some reason. Oh, that's good. For some reason. I mean, it would be awesome to identify what that reason is. So I can capitalize on that even more. But I don't know. You know, I always feel a little self-conscious about my nasally voice. Because my voice is, you know, it's pretty nasally. So I always feel like it might not be so calming and peaceful for some people. But it's good to hear that it feels okay for a lot of you. So good to hear. I think we got something here like that. Voice says, as ASMR coming. Yeah, exactly. Didn't know this was already an ASMR channel. Yeah. Seems like you were unaware, but it has always been an ASMR channel. I think this looks pretty good, actually. What do you think? Gonna get inside here like that. Then maybe go like that a little bit. And then, whoop. This is looking pretty good, no? I might have to go over here a little bit. Do that. And then maybe draw this out. Focus on the facets. I think we want to maybe do this like that. Maybe we do that. The facet shading is a little bit confusing. I feel like there was... Hold on, let me take a look at the reference again. It's basically this shape. We got good light on the right side, and then they're shading out the darker, deeper. And then the highlights, and then the refraction. The refractions are the confusing part, I think. Oh, here's some description of what that is. Untick says, needs a bit more clickety-click from the keyboard, if you ask me. It's true. My new, what do you call? So I have a problem with my keyboard. I'll show you a little bit. It's a reduced keyboard, and it's nice, but it's old, but it also has a little wire. And I've had a wireless or Bluetooth keyboard, but that one it takes battery and it drains it pretty fast, and I don't want to upkeep battery, especially because you can't throw it away in the trash can anymore because they explode or whatever. So I got one that has like one of these like USB 4.9 gigahertz whatever thing, the Wi-Fi tech one, and then you can charge and all that. And so I got one of those, and I got the mechanical keyboard. It's the key switches I've never had before. It's like not even a cherry key switches. It's like something called Keychron. Never heard it, but it looks good. So I'm excited to get that, but it's going to be a while. Tick says, that's annoying. Yeah. It's cabled, so it looks bad on the thing. Like, it looks so clean and nice right now. I've cleaned up my desk and all that. But the black cable is kind of in the way, especially because the length control is hard. And I have a little hub for switching between my streaming laptop, which this I'm streaming from laptop, and then the gaming desktop. So Untick says Keychron. I had a Keychron once. Hopefully good things. But yeah, voice says, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. All right, so I'm going to add some shines now. I'm going to make this whole facet completely bright. And then I think I want to add some refraction line like that. Right, because that's what happens. And then maybe even this. Maybe like that. Like so. And then maybe it doesn't have to be this bright. And then have the light catch a little bit more like this. And then we want, I think we do want the opposite side to catch as well pretty hard. So we'll work on that part, I think. Yeah, there's like a reflect back down here. You see like the reflect back here. So we get the mid-tone again. What is a green? So we got the girdle facets, pavilion. Well, I think there's so many stuff on there. But anyways, we're going to use this information to best of our abilities to make the most gem-like look I can. I think this looks good here. Like that. Feels like a shimmer. Then we're going to anti-alias with this yellow a little bit. Probably going to extend this out a little bit. Like so. You know, making this look broken is going to be another task for sure. I might have to make this more rounded. Like that. Yeah. I think it's looking pretty good here. Maybe it'll be like, I don't know. It looks good, but it's also messing with the like the shape information. So I'm gonna have to be very careful here. Rough. Oops. Godot says, hey, what's up? Hey, not much. We're doing well. We're chilling. Void is lurking. Unticked says, I like super flat keyboards, so I use a Magic Keyboard from Apple now with an app called Clack, which basically just plays. That's so funny. Is there no delay on that? Well, I do like the flat key for like the look of it, but like it just feels bad on your wrist, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess I don't know why. Because you don't have to, if it's flat, you're not doing this as much. You're doing this. I guess flat key is more ergonomic, isn't it? Huh. I guess it is. Godot says, I hate mechanical keyboard too, lol. Do you? I mean, I don't know. I like to feel the pressure of the key presses. That they feel nice to me. I'm doing well. Life is good. You know, can't complain. There are people who have it worse. But yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do it like this. I'm just going to add a little bit of reflect back here, I think. Then guard that out. Man, these lines are so harsh now, the color-wise. I might have to round this out a little bit. Like that. Feels a little bit rounder. Kind of looks like a heart jam now. I think it has potential. Okay, that's fine. We got the reflect back here. There's so much like, we have like the, what do you call, real estate issue of how much information we include on what. That's a main problem right now. The question is, do I make this dark color something else? So that makes, it's just stylistically different from rest of the thing, which could be good or bad. But it looks like a little heart candy. Yum. So we'll do that. Hey Zuzu, long time no see. Hey, 3x3 is cool. Says hello again. How's everyone? We're doing well. Godot says, I literally got noise canceling headphone because of my Korka's blues key switches. Okay, well, using mechanical key in a public area is a little different from keeping it at home, I think. The problem with mechanical keyboard is it keeps me efficient because sometimes my brain, like the rhythm of the typing forces my brain to think faster, if that makes sense. Like, for example, my brain is trying to keep up with the speed of this or the rhythm of the typing. So if I'm trying to keep the consistent beat, then my brain feels a pressure to like come up with the next line quick. It's weird, but it happens. Zuzu says, there's a mechanical keyboard for everyone. Yeah. I mean, there are soft keys. I think the X switches are pretty soft. Silent. Yeah, mechanical key is not always noisy. There are silent mechanical keys. Godot says, also flat key requires less travel when pressing, which feels nicer in my opinion. I get that. I like to exercise my finger while typing, apparently. Godot says also flat... I would say that. Zuzu says there are low-profile silent mechanical keys, though. Yeah, it's true. I like those. I like a little gummy keyboard sometimes. There are low-profile silent... Yeah, already read that. 3x3 says, Ezra, am I going to be called 3 blind is cool this time instead of this cool? I'm calling you 3x3 is cool. That was... the name, right? 3x3? I don't know. I'll just call you Cool. Hey, Cool. All right, so that's going to be my heart candy here. Untick says, haha, yes, I can relate to this. Keychron's super red switches have an amazing sound. I don't know what switch I got. You know what? Let me go check. The problem is that because I got it from like the official website, I believe my delivery is taking forever. Like it hasn't even shipped and I ordered it like last week. Which, I mean, look, I'm too used to, like, things being shipped immediately. Let me see if I can find it. I'm mostly excited about my desk space being uncluttered. I bought a lot of little, like, shelves and stuff like that to keep my desk feel a little pristine. Because I need to get back to making one of those, like, DevDucks devlog, right? Where it's, like, where you see all the plants and then you see the shot of me working. Or pretending to work. And then I go, this week in our devlog, we have made this feature. And then everybody goes, woo, ah, you know. That's exactly the point. That's the only point. Let's see if I can find it. Link inspired. What are you talking about? I got scammed, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. We're going to get a new link here. But yeah. Zeus says, I regret not buying a keyboard when I was in Korea. Ooh, that would have been cheap. They also have nice stuff. Though I don't know if, like, what do you call, the construction, the integrity of the construction would be better there or not? Or is, like, comparable? Track order with shop. What? Is that the only way to do this? It tells me you can only do that with this, like, QR code. Ugh. This seems like a lot of hassle for just tracking my shipping. All right. Well, I guess I'll do the QR code here. Did I not? I guess I should have made a account for this so that I don't have to do this. There you go. I don't really know what switch I got on mine. It says Milk Palm Brown. So it's like a softer one. Anything brown is slightly a mixture, right? It's like the balance between the clickety clacks and then the little bit soft actuation. It's still order placed, waiting for details. Are you serious to me? Come on, man. It's been a week. All right, everyone. My inbox is open. Send me keyboards. No, seriously, though. I never done that, so I actually am kind of scared to do that. Let's see. Godot says, yeah, I might look into that, but I just want to use my flat keyboard. I mean, if it works, it works. Ether Music, thanks for the follow. 3x3 is cool says, if you're still going to call me cool or something, maybe Torby, because that's my name on Twitch. You know what? I'm going to call you Torby. I feel like that's much easier to say. All right, from now on, this cool is Torby. Godot says, split keyboards are something I'm considering, though. Oh, yeah, split keyboards. I was thinking about that. It just looks so gaudy on the desk. Untick says, I like brown switches. Did you get the K3 then? I'm not... I don't know what it's called. Let's see. Let me go to the website and see if I can find it. Keychron. All right. This is not an advertisement. I just bought it. I actually don't know how good it is. They have a split key, but it looks ugly to me. Because mine is like white oak. My desk is mostly white oak, not the dark one with the bright color. I think I got one of these like framed one. What I did was though, I think when it's like looking for key, you could do layout, and I was looking for something along the lines of 75%, 80%, because when you're doing game development, arrow keys are kind of important. So I did that. And then what was important to me was 2.4 gigahertz connection. And then language doesn't matter. Material doesn't matter as much. Price, kind of important. And then, ooh, this actually looks nice. I like these like retro / like muted tone look. But I think I got... I wonder if I have an account. Hold on, let me try to log in and see if there's an order. Oh, I am logged in. Here it is. Keychron K3. Oh, hold on. Is it showing some information? Oh, shoot. Everybody avert your eyes. K3. Yes, it is K3. Maybe I shouldn't have pointed it out. Everybody, shh. I trust you guys. Torby says I saw it. No. Untick says, haha, did you order a Keychron loot box? No, I got the K3 for sure. Says, yeah, I like the retro look as well, but the K2 was a risk breaker for me because of its height. K3 is awesome. Great choice. Thanks. Appreciate it. Jeez, am I gonna get... Oh, gosh. This scares me every time I accidentally leak my information. Now I have to move. That was the most revealing thing ever. And I'm too lazy to take that out of the VOD. Torby says, or Zuzu says, brown is tactile, so it has a ridge, but not spring that pushes down. So no click sound, but it has tactical ridge. That's good. That's about what I was looking for, I think. Let's see. Torby says split keyboard seems to be an intriguing idea, just not very practical. I think it's practical in that like you can change the gap. You can be more neutral as opposed to being like this. Like ergonomically, this is better than this. But there's like a middle gap that you're not utilizing. So it's just kind of weird. Unless you're going to be like this. You can type like this. Put two keyboards on your... If you put two keyboards on the back of your chair, you can lie down and type, I guess. Godot says, as long as I can do my Vim motions easily, I'm happy. You know, that's reasonable. Torby says, you should re-edit the stream to blur that out, then post it. Did I set that right after you say you were too lazy? Yeah. I mean, I could cut it. That's a thing I can do in VOD, but we'll see. Nightbet says, come further south past the docks. Oh, wait, are we talking about where we live now? Nightbet, are you local-ish? Untic says, low free marketing team is already on you. Low free? What is that? Yeah. But anyways, Keyquart needs to do some, what do you call? Maybe they need to sponsor my stream so I can advertise. Anyways, so that's the heart crystal. Let's do a provision crystal, which is kind of awkward. It's like, what does it mean to increase your max provision without increasing your bag space, right? So it feels weird, but I think we're going to do something here. We got to figure something out. What could be the next provision crystal? Or should that not be, you know what? Maybe that shouldn't be an upgrade. Maybe only the speed, which is like the boots, and then the heart is upgrade. Provision upgrade is like through buying, like bigger bags. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it so that the provision is not something that you can upgrade. Cool. The speed crystal would look something like... What should the speed crystal look like? Electricity, like this, like that. Oh, I mean, this could be it. But how would I describe this as a crystal structure? I guess. Kniff says, I doubt I'll stalk you all the way from Dallas. Okay, well, look, mind you, it's not permanent. I'm in an apartment, guys. Don't depend on that information. Nightbest says, you say you were going to have to move about an hour south of Seattle with good traffic. I still want to stay in the city a little bit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Guys, don't make me nervous. Untic says, maybe like flash embedded in a crystal, like something in Ember. Yeah. It's just that thematically or visually it looks too different from this. Like, yeah, you're right. I could do something like this and then like have like kind of like an orby look, right? But it feels too different. Then I might as well do the same thing with the heart, right? I feel like it's kind of lame. So heart is perfect for me because you can say it splits this way. So there's two pieces that you can collect and you can indicate that there's a two piece you need to collect in order to get a full heart. Speed, I want it to be like 4 pieces. How about that? Yeah. 5 piece? 4 piece. I think 4 piece is good. So let's make a shape that makes sense in a 4 piece, I think. Untic says true. Yes, true. Let's see. Torby says a speed should be lightning bolt. Bruh, why am I always late in chat, lol? I mean, YouTube always have a little bit more delay than the other stream services, so that's what happens. Shadow4D says, are you the guy who just had your address licked on TikTok? Only messaging, been watching for like 30 minutes. Ah, shoot. Wow. Are you serious right now? Are you kidding me right now? Don't. Do not do this. Do not do this. It's not funny. It's not funny. Jesus. Oh my god. That was terrifying. Hi. Thanks for the first time chat. No, actually that was all part of the plan. That was my rival's my worst enemy's address, and I pretended to have like leaked it. Yeah, awful first time chat, my bad. No. It's okay. It's okay, I guess. I get it. You know, when the joke presents itself, you gotta grab the moment, you know, I get it. A practical jokester. Untic says, that was your first time chat? Dude! Yeah, no, honestly. They took the moment. They saw the chance and took the moment. Tori says, oh, a clock with a lightning bolt. That's a pretty good one. And then cut it into 4. Okay. time. Potentially a good idea. I still want it to look interesting. So like, let's see. What if... I don't know if this shape will land or not. Let me just think about this real quick, okay, guys? No, I don't like that shape. We gotta think about this. It's hard. It's hard. We could... What if it looked like... Maybe we don't even think about the symmetry. Maybe it could just be one of these things. And it's less crystal-like. I wonder if there's a way to make this look more crystal-like. But... I mean, this is like a common imagery for speed and whatever. Quickness. Something like that. We'll see. Conic says, Ezra, I have a game idea, but I don't even know where to start. Should I do GDD first? If so, how does it work exactly? Do I have to finish the whole document? No. What's important in your idea to completion, I think, is first of all, your 2-sentence summary. So if someone was to see your game for the first time, and they are the people that would like your game, this is not for everyone. You got to make sure your summary and the whole like overview or synopsis of the game is for the people who would like your game. So for example, if I'm making a deck builder, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to write something that describes my game that when a, for example, seasoned Magic the Gathering player sees it, they want to go, oh my God, I love that. So you got to make sure. Hey, thanks for the follow, Sankuko-san. Sankuko-san says, hello, hi. Shano says, risky joke. Yeah, it really was. Gosh. Sean also says, I only just come in 30 minutes ago. You were just here just in time for the address leak. Nippus is all about engagement, evil hand roping. Yeah, exactly. If I get millions of views, I guess it's worth leaking the address? No, I don't think so. But yeah, now anyway, saying, so synopsis first for the people that you're selling the game to. Or if you're not selling, for the people who would enjoy your game. It could be yourself. So like write a description of your game idea in 1 or 2 sentences, packing as much information as possible to excite that audience. That gives you a little focus of the identity of what the game is about, essentially at its core. And so that's like your mission statement. And then I think the next important thing is what people call game loop, but it's more so of like, I would express it more of like, what is the fun of your game? So for that audience, you wrote the synopsis, define the feeling that you need to have in that in order to achieve the type of fun. So for example, if I, once again, deck builder, I would say the core concept of the game is that collect card and then make a deck and feel powerful using your deck or smart using your deck. Maybe that's something. I mean, that's not all deck builders, but that could be something. So like, for example, Slay the Spire is not about like actually making the deck and thinking about it. It's about facing the randomness and making the best out of it with some loose idea of everything. So there is a sense of deck building, but a lot of times it's mostly about thinning your deck out or making a combo feels a little different than if you're like, oh, I'm making a 50 card deck, right? Like conceptually it's different. So that's the next thing I think. Sankuko-san says, new here, what are you working on? Right now we're working on Through the Shatter, which is our game. We're working towards a demo by June, hopefully. We're coming to releasing a demo game soon. We're working on some visual updates. This is a Steam page, so you can go wishlist it for me if you would like. We're gonna, I mean, I think I kind of jumped the gun in making the page because I don't have a trailer, I don't have a visual update, but I think that's coming on soon. I'm hoping that I'll have a trailer by June. So we'll see. That's my idea, at least, Conic. That's like a good starting point. Let's see. Sean says, smart. The psychology is something a lot of people don't think about. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Sakuko says, what's the idea behind the game? Just short explanation if you don't mind. It's a roguelike adventure and strategy where journey is expressed through graph traversal. And it's like roguelike in the sense that the maps are generated randomly. There are builds, randomly selected locations and adventures. So the core concept is I want to translate the joy of discovering and exploring in a most simple UI form as possible. The game itself is a resource management plus lore. So there's an aspect of like, oh, in order to adventure, I need to resource manage my health and this thing called provision. And on top of that, you get to like, you know, do the typical like node-based event that triggers, that reveals a little bit about the world, but also gives you different benefits and harms. So there's that randomness and discovering. And then exploration, where there are things that you can find like items, NPCs, upgrades to make your unique build to strategize around how to best explore. Main concept is going from point A to B while finding things out. That's the summary. But this is what the game looks like right now. Obviously, you have the heart, provision, you have this generated node, and then you can choose to explore further. And then if you're exploring, you have this like exploration mode, which is like the gameplay, where you have the number of moves to explore around, collect, right? This is where opportunity for collecting provisions and coin and meeting new people comes through. And then once you run out of the moves, it uses your provision to reset the move. So you have like, it's like traveling here while managing. Is it beneficial to move further or do I have to go back? So when you're done exploring, you get to go leave. And once you leave, you're back on the overworld. And when you're in overworld, traveling costs provision and heart like it did before. So it's like, this is like a zoomed in, slower adventure, right? Exploration. And in overworld, it's more like summary. So it's like when you're traveling, provision is used automatically like this. So longer you travel, the further length you travel, more you will use. And there's upgrades in relation to that and stuff like that. Sakuko-san says, thank you for that. Looks like a nice idea. What happens if you run out of movements and that resource is on top, or that won't happen? So if you run out of resources, it uses heart instead. And when you run out of heart, obviously, that's game over. Let me show you what it looks like to run into a merchant. Hopefully there's no spike here. Ah, I ran into a spike. All right, we got the little shop found. Then we'll go here. And then we'll shop. Connect says, thank you. Zuzu says, start with the philosophy behind the game, then complete the full GDD, then make a paper prototype, no matter what genre, RPG, FPS, no matter, always test on paper. I do think that testing on paper is a very strong argument. I think it helps a lot, for sure. Zuzu also said, in all seriousness, don't think too much about how to start. Starting itself is the best way to start. Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of things you can do that can help you, but that really depends on what you like. Yeah, I do think that what's important is starting, but you still need a focus. And if you need a direction to focus on the main theme of the game. Like just kind of like identifying what the game is about. What is the identity of the game? I think that's what it comes down to. All right, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm like not really sure what the gem for the speech should be. I'm not really married to anything. Circle. Circle is lame though. I think maybe it should be like one of these. Let's do that. We'll do this. Pretty simple. Simple shape, but you know, It's okay. And then we'll make this a little dark here. Like that. And then maybe this can be more like that. Then we'll get rid of the lines here real quick. Like that. Boop, boop. But yeah. Let's see. Zeus says, if you find that difficult, you can always break it down in sections. A game is not a single piece of something. Yeah, sure. Honestly, I mean, you end up finding the way that works for you. You know, and the way that works for me might not work for you, which happens all the time. So don't be surprised to try. I think this looks pretty sick. Boop. Yeah. And then we'll do a little bit of reflect back here. And then maybe do a little bit of darkening for the sake of describing yes, that looks pretty cool. Oops. I got a little too excited there. Yas, queen, yas. Let me see if I can. No. I might have to do some anti-aliasing here. Feels a little bit, Ooh, what if I make it a little bit pointed out? Oh. It's a little hard to do with this much information. There's just not enough pixel for it. You know what? I'm just going to have to fix this. Yeah. I'll have to just call it. That just has to do. There you go. Hopefully I answered your question, Sankuko. I don't know, you haven't answered afterwards, but here it is. Nightbat says, hogwash. There's only one path to success. Bury yourself in the closet for the next 10 years and release the next big thing. Sarcasm. Yeah. Basically, that's what you got to do. Say you're making the next World of Warcraft. Nothing else, right? I am making the next fill in the blank. For sure, dude. For sure. I believe in you. So funny. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of reflection here. Maybe I'll make it a soft line. I'm gonna make some soft lines here. Boop, like that. Then I'll use the darker color in some spots here. Like that. I think. That's okay. That's fine. There you go. I have to just outline it all the way. Okay, good enough. Eonsai says, is the demo out already? No, it's not. I think I'm too much of a perfectionist right now. I do feel like it's kind of at a playable point, and I just feel like I personally don't feel satisfied with the gameplay that I have. Like in terms of like the challenges that I feel, or like in general, like kind of like the feeling of I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to be done still. And so until I feel like, oh my gosh, I can play this, or I feel like, oh, the strategy that I'm coming up with feels like enjoyable, that I feel I'm gonna keep it locked down. But you know, is it the best way to approach this? I don't think so. I think a lot of people feel that you should probably playtest it earlier. But to be fair, I've had the previous version of this game already playtested. That is because, remember, I made this game as a game jam game, like a quick project. And then we happened to have gotten to the point of like, you know, making updates. Oops. Because it got received pretty well. So I think I'm okay here to have done that in the order I did. I'm doing too much detailing now. Okay. Feels a little better. There you go. Cool. Hey Kane. Nice franchise with a heart emote. Hello, hello. Kane says, I'm doing an internal playtest now for my game. I think it's great. Before releasing a demo, I already found a bug that only happened on AMD. Oh, that's an interesting point. I definitely will do a playtest with you guys before I officially release the game for demo on Steam. Because, you know, trusted audience and all that. So yeah, look forward to that. It'll be on our Discord when that announcement happens. So if you're not already in there, make sure you are. There's no doubt that will be very useful. Let's see. Thanks for the raid. Red Cabin Games. Hi, Raiders. Hey, Legender's here. Speaking of, shout out, Red Cabin Games. Welcome, Raiders. Hope you are having a great Saturday. Hopefully, depending on where you are. And happy Mother's Day weekend for those of you who are mothers. Well, at least in the US, that's what it is. But hi. How are you? How was your stream? And welcome. I should probably follow you for rating you in the future. Here it is. Leginger says, Bibbidi Bop. Hi, Bibbidi Bop, Leginger. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Iwansai says, is it demo? No, I already read that. Nice Mice franchise says, yeah, lol, the dangers of getting lost all zoomed in. Those are some nice pixel art, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I'm working on it. So, okay, I got to break this into parts. Question, do I pre-break it manually, or do I use some sort of, do I do it programmatically? I think that I'll break it manually. So, the idea right now is that I'll have probably half pieces here. It's going to be a little different. But basically, I'll put this over here. So this is going to be 4-piece jam, and this is going to be 2-piece jam for upgrades. So we'll do that. Let's break this appropriately. And then I also want to do it justice. I don't want to just like split it and call it a day. I want it to look nice. So we'll make sure we do that as well. Do that. Like so. And then we'll do what we can to represent this appropriately. Like so. Because we got to do the facets, right? Oops. That looks kind of nice. And then have this light line right that. Like so. And that means we're going to get more light in through, which means we're going to get a little bit of brighter. This might be too much, but we'll see. Red Kevin Game says, good dev session, working a bit on a late game stuff, end of stream with some Hades 2. Ooh, fun. I haven't played Hades 2 in a while. I haven't played it since, spoiler alert. Do I spoil it? Since I finished it. I finished the story. There's some time travel stuff, but then there's more to do it, so I didn't do 100%. But I gotta do it. Hey, Appa. I'm Appa says, dropping by to say hi. Hi, welcome. Long time no say. Hope you're doing well. It's my actual IRL friend who also streams gameplays. So here we are. Hey, I'll have you know, you like he's always asking like, when is my game done? Pinned comment right now. My wish list for Steam page is up, so go wish list it. This game will be available at some point, but I'm gonna do internal demo soon. Let's see. Nice franchise says, script. As someone who dislikes even the smallest manual labor, I say spend days on a cool export script for your tile sets. True, I understand the sentiment, but I just love pixel arting. It's just kind of joyous experience for me. So I'm gonna make it so that like a light coming through feels a little bit more like this, and then we'll have we'll shift the color a little bit. And then we'll have like, make it look like there's some shimmer that's happening. This reflection probably will darken out. We'll lock this down a little bit. And then I suppose we could still keep this reflection. The darkest part might not be so dark anymore, and so we'll do that like so. Maybe not. I'll keep this like that. This feels okay, so let's say we do this. Let's see. Red Kevin Game, sorry. Geez, I didn't catch up on that. What are we working on? We're working on a game called Through the Shatter. Originally, we worked on this as part of Game Jam, and we used it as an opportunity to make features for my other game, which is like tactics-based roguelike game. Roguelike RPG is what I was calling it tentatively. So this game, I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the map traversal, the graph-based traversal part of the game. So I made the game about that entirely. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of that right now. So the most of the game is about adventuring roguelike journey and a strategy. So it's adventuring and exploring in the form of graph traversal. And it's roguelike in that it's randomly generated. The challenges are using your resources that you're given to get from point A to B or wherever you want to go. Managing that resource. You go into each node, which are uniquely set up to pick up provisions, resources, and all those things. So you saw the overworld. This is exploration mode. During the exploration mode, you have this like zoomed in adventure. You have an opportunity to find secrets, the NPCs, the upgrades, the shops, pick up items. So that's part of the game right now. You can see like the basic concept. This is the second time saying this, by the way, but it's okay because we got raiders. Basically, when you're exploring here, you're picking things up. Obviously, this one is a new upgrade that I have added here, which is like the Crystal Sanctuary gives you max bonuses. I'm trying to describe this as like, only thing that I'm focusing on, the main concept is like, how do we make it so that there is a joy of discovering and exploring that you feel when you're playing things like tabletop RPG in the most like simplest format. So as you can see here in the merchant node, there's this guy called Sprouty. So I'm going to go for him. Them, I guess. So there's a game here. Hey, I found the guy. Amappa says, yes, I'll start promoting it on my channel. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice Mice franchises. Much success, man. I hope so. I hope so. And then, of course, when you go here, you can see now that the shop is available because I found this guy. So the whole thing is like you explore to find things to make the node more powerful. So later when you're going back and forth, you can go back to the node that you've already discovered something and it has been set up for your usage. So you don't have to explore every time. And of course you have these items like roguelike stuff. I can't buy anything right now. And then of course there are events. You can see this mountain right here has a little exclamation point. That means if you go there, there's like a little dialogue event that happens, you know, that can or cannot help. So that's the main concept. That's the main concept. Let's see. I gotta make sure this... Hold on. I made a little mistake here. Because I don't think I delineated where the cuts are. Well, actually... I don't even need to make it like this. It's just half or full. Right? The progression... I don't have to make the other piece at all. And then this will be just this. And basically, I need to... By the way, this is my dialogue plugin in Godot as well. Oh, we work on Godot. So we make our games in Godot. My main achievement in the Godot community is making this dialogue plugin. I am making some improvements that I was sharing earlier today. I gotta do the localization as part of the big thing. Legendary says, haven't done Hades 2 at all yet. Was deep in the shit when the game came out, so just never got around to it. Yeah, I mean, it's also a time sink. If you have other games that you're playing, you know. Legendary says, I did the thing. I got my new computer. Hey, yes, congrats. You can reward yourself with a little computer now that you've made a game. I think arguably successful. But yeah. Let's see. Nice Mice franchise says, you're breaking my heart, Ezra, lol, but on a less gestury note, do you have all the required assets already planned out so that you can in good conscience do the art polishing, or do you somewhat wing it? I wing it a little bit, but my winging it is based on, so this is something that I learned when I was working on other products in general that is customer facing. And, you know, I had a really nice UX designer that I worked with, and it has a lot to do with, it's not winging it, more so like you got to experience it as a user, right? So a lot of the times I am super critical on what I'm feeling and what I'm noticing. So I play the game as a first-time user, and I see visually what I see. And as soon as something pops up as like, that feels unprofessional or that feels unintentional, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think aesthetic and visual representation, what people consider as like, oh, this is acceptable versus not. When things look unintentional, I think that's when things look unprofessional. So that's what I'm going through. When I'm looking at like, oh, if I say I'm going to go through a visual update, like, I'll tell you what I noticed right now. Immediately, this is in my note of things to do. Pixel here, gotta go, right? That's a random pixel right there. Missing pixel here, gotta go. Balance of the screen, gotta be fixed. It's center here, empty space here. The menus needs to be updated. I mean, those are the main thing. And over here as well, looks cool, has everything. Empty space, empty space. It feels unfinished. I'm looking at that. You know, hey, another raider, back to back. Hey, Maya Rainer. Maya Rainer, thanks for the raid. Shout out to Maya Rainer. We just got raided by Red Cabin Games here, and I was just explaining what the game is about, what we're looking at, and somebody was just asking, like, if I'm doing pixel art for this game, what is the visual update I'm looking for? And I was just explaining that I'm focusing on, as a UX design first type of thing, the first time user experience. Maya, hi. I hope you had a good stream. I don't know. Share with the stream what you have been working on. Otherwise, I understand if you have to leave immediately after. Raid and run is a common exercise here in the world. Basically, the game is ready for wishlisting in Steam, on Steam. I got to work on visual update and locking down last minute game mechanics for a good demo experience. And my goal right now is October Next Fest and demo out by June. I just contacted my sound guy to start working on the sound design tomorrow. So we're coming to an end. But next thing right now is focus on demo experience plus visual and audio update. So that's where we're at. And this game is just because somebody's bound to ask, is a roguelike adventure strategy where exploration and journey is expressed through a graph traversal where you're managing resources. The main heart of the game that I wanted to focus on was how do I express it so that other people can experience the joy of lore discovery and exploration, that little joy you get when you find a new thing, or when you find more about the story, or when you finally become stronger through the simplest format possible. That's what we're doing. Thanks. Hi. Maya says, how are you? I'm doing well. We're doing well. Let's see. Maya says, I've been working on a Game Boy emulator and it's been super... Oh, fun. That sounds like a fun project. That is also very... Oh, gosh. I got just mauled. So, yeah. That's what we're working on right now. Today is a visual update day, so I'm just kind of fixing minor bugs and then also doing some pixel art here. One thing we decided on was that the heart and speed upgrade on every note seems a little too strong, so we're going to make it so that on theme with the game right now, so that there is like a collectible crystals where you put together, so you collect certain amount in order to upgrade. So that's where we're at here. So we are making some, what do you call? Yeah, we're making some pixel art to represent that appropriately. So we have a half heart gem, full heart gem. We got the full speed gem, which I guess should be 4 pieces here. So we'll add that one at a time. I guess this one needs a little bit of more planning. So I'll draw the split portion, which I guess is not too difficult. I guess I don't even need to do that. So we're going to go with the bottom 4th quarter first. So we'll cut this out. And then we'll do appropriate gem shaping. We love art here, by the way. So if you have any questions in regards to art, let me know. I mean, especially I love pixel art. That's just full on nostalgia as someone who grew up in the 90s and whatnot. You know, pixel art base game have a very special taste. I am revealing now. I'm coming out as an unk here as I say that. So be nice. I know I'm an unk, but here we are. Let's see. Nightpet says, Ezra also liked doing the art, so making art is like a little treat for him, breaking up the tasks to not get burnt out. Hey, thank you. Thank you for describing that. I know the viewers have my back. Remote says, hello, hi, sorry. I'm really behind on the chat. I'm so sorry, guys. But it is what it is. I think I described everything I had to there, but we're cool. Nice Mice franchise on YouTube says... thanks. So an iterative polishing approach where I assume game itself is mechanically already mostly done. Yeah, they're mostly done. And even the game experience mechanically, I think it's really important to take a look at your game as a first-time user experience. We make a mistake a lot of like, you know that feeling of like, man, this game is so good once you get to know everything about it. That's a mistake, right? Like it means at core you have a good game, but then like there's such a barrier of entry for people to like get to that point. And instead of like thinking it as like, oh man, I wish people had more patience, you gotta think of it as like, how do we share this joy to people who don't have the ability to normally enjoy it because of their patience level? It's like coming from the space of, I would say, like, care and humanity, I think, is where I think would help shape your opinion on that, I think. But yeah, once again, This is just an old man ranting. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a thing that we should really think about, but that's at least my concept of making art, making joyful experience. All right, Nice Mice franchise also said bunch of stuff, focus moving needle, but I wonder how the planning part of it works. I work in art outsourcing one time and had to follow a pre-made spreadsheet exactly, but this waterfall model I see doesn't fly for indie projects. But going completely without a plan already had me burned. Scope. Now I get it. Planning is definitely hard. I gotta say this, as an indie developer, like it's easier to do it, so I'll give you my perspective. It definitely is easier for artists and people who are working with you in contract for you to have an entire list. And you do your best, I think. I do that still. So I go through, jot down everything I think is necessary. So I plan it, and then sometimes, the artist or the musician, because right now I'm about to contract out a music, right? With a musician. They might be like, oh yeah, give me all the ideas of like what you needed, blah, blah, blah. And then you keep kind of in the looseness of like, okay, well, there might be more. So it's a tricky thing. I don't know how to solve that completely. Cause like, yeah, it's like you need it. You need the structure to definitely help, people understand the direction. It's like for the people who don't care as much about your work to be convinced of your work. And I guess it's too tall. And like if they don't care as much, then it's like telling them about all these like flexible approach is not very helpful. I get that. So it's a struggle. It definitely is a struggle. I don't think it's easy. I don't think there's like a easy answer to this. Unfortunately. I wish there was. It will make my life easier for certain. But alas, here we are. Let's see. I feel like you just gotta do your best, and you can't be stubborn. If the artist, so it really depends on the person too. Some artists are more comfortable with doing the work flexibly without a plan. Like some people are like, yeah, I'm okay with that. We'll go as we go. You tell me what you think about the works that I provide, and then like we'll go from there. Versus some people are like, oh no, like give me a list of assets I need to deliver, please, because I can't. Especially financially speaking, it's really important for designers and artists, especially if they're being contracted out, to be like, how much money am I going to make from this, and how often? Like that's like a huge decision point for being onboarded to your project too. So I get it. I think as a owner of indie games or indie project, you kind of need to learn to be flexible, I think, so that you can utilize the abilities and skill sets of multiple types of people instead of just one. That's my thought. Who said, you're my favorite weird unk. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm your Korean unk. Right? All right. Let's do this here. Then we'll do that. This one like that. Catch this like that. Then we'll catch most of the light here. And then I think we can just go like this. Maybe this needs to be like that. Thing. There you go. Looking pretty sick, no? I think so. Yeah, 3 pieces. Heck yeah. All right. So we're gonna make an item node here for these 2 things. Let's see. Juju says, you can be my Korean unc. Yeah, exactly. Iwo on Psych says, Korea! Yeah. Well, I'm ethnically Korean. I mean, technically I still have dual citizenship, but it's soon to be done. I have I'm trying to, I have extended my army duty, and it's coming to an end. So I gotta make sure I give up on my Korean citizenship here in a year. Let's see. Nice Mice franchise says, again, thanks. I see we have a similar set of work experience, a decade of app, UI, UX, software dev, and art, but doing multiple different tasks that require different mindsets like system tooling versus, yeah. I mean, it's always a problem. And I am noticing that basically you really can't be stubborn with your process as much as you would love to. That's the major lesson I learned from working with products in general. It's easy to be, I think it's like the Dunning-Kruger curve, right? Where you go like, you know everything. You know a little bit and then you act like you know everything, the confidence level. And then like you know nothing and then you go back to whatever. You're like, oh, it's like a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Shiroff says, if someone make PC game with help of AI, yes, you can still sell them. There's nothing wrong with it. Most people don't use AI in ways that are helpful, I think, from what I've seen, to know how to finish a project. Because here's the thing, coding, making art, all those things, it's just part of the skill. Because you know how to code doesn't mean you know how to finish a project. Make sense? Different skill set. In fact, in our chat, we have someone named Leginger Dev who just released a game called All Hail the Orb, and it's been only like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Maybe it's been 2 months. I don't know. I mean, last I checked, they said it was like 130K on sale. And it was their first game and entirely vibe coded the thing, is what he claims. And that's cool. And it works. Once again, but then he had to do a lot of work on working with publisher, marketing, creating trailer, making the game mechanics fun, like deciding on the visual and like community driven infrastructure and identity for the game. You still need all those things. So to tell you the truth of like, can you make PC games with help of AI and sell them? Legally, yes. There's nothing wrong with it legally. There's some ethical questions of like what it means to use AI. Of course, you know, everybody has their own opinion on that. And I have my own engineering opinion on what it means to use an AI of like, okay, well, I feel like it's not very, like you don't want to rely on it if you want a like, what do you call, long lasting product that is like you're making a service with high risk customers, you know? But I would say though, I think the main thing is what you need to realize is that not that with AI's help, I can finally make game. It's you already know how to make a game. You already have the ability and potential to do it because people have been doing it. Many people have been doing it without the help of AI for ages and ages. Only difference was that people do and don't was always the motivation and discipline. And that's something you need to learn with or without AI. Sankuto, oh gosh, I kept reading it wrong. Sankuko-san says, there is nothing wrong with it, but most of the community judge everyone that using vibe coding, at least from my research experience. I have something to say about that. We always say it. I have my judgment, but my judgment isn't in just the pure sense of like you're using it and you're evil. There's like economical thing, reliance, and like The reliance not being reliable, economical effects, and longevity of the product, all those things are something to be considered. I feel like if you're using it, if you're hype about it, I feel that you should never be either always dismissive or full on supportive. That is to say, you need to form your information and decision based on the nuances that is life, based on a lot of information. And you can't judge, but you can also just allow it. Moon, thanks for the follow. Untick says, the end boss in game dev is 3D models, that little bit of coding. End boss of the game is the marketing. For me, it's like the marketing and all the like running around doing booth and promotions and all those things. Like, that's hard. Nice Mice franchise says a bunch of stuff, but before that, Kane says, I think it's fine if you know what you're doing, and it's just replacement for your pressing keys, just a code generator. I feel like there was a switch like some months ago from where no one liked it to everyone using it, and even many of our customers ask if we use it and want it. Nice Mice franchise says, problem with vibe coding is potentially a janky, buggy game. Would only do that in very small scope stuff, but using LLMs really helped me get up to speed with GDScript to sufficiently deep level. Nice Mice franchise says, I was always bad going through lots of documentation, so AI didn't replace anything there in my case. Zeus says, end boss for me is long-term motivation. Yeah, motivation is hard. Hey, Cooley, long time no see. Let's see. Sunkuko says, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anyone. At least I'm one using the AI just for some help, but it's from what I have seen so far from game community. Cooley says, if you're using AI to make quick slap games for easy money, then it's wrong in my opinion. Supplement your skill with it as most, but do it for the love of the game. Dev. Yeah, exactly. Moon says, I share your thought on AI for game dev. AI is a tool and used correctly, it can save time. Iwa says, as a consumer, I doubt somebody would be looking forward to spending money on game fully made with AI instead of unusual game made by human. I think, okay, everyone, here's my concept. To me, experience is worth it because there was an intention of a human behind it. The humanness of the game is important to me. Just like how I can, for the love of God, no matter how good the story is, if the AI generates some sort of tabletop RPG experience and then I'm going through like, oh, what's around the corner? What's here? What's there? I won't be able to enjoy it. Same reason I wasn't able to find excitement when I played Diablo and they came first up with the procedurally generated, randomly generated dungeon where they were like, oh, it's a new experience every time. No, it's not. It's based on, there's no intention behind it. It's just randomness with some challenges. The game itself, the story, the discovery, doesn't feel special. It just is repeated. The humanness of it is the intention of like how you make the game, I think. So for example, for me, I said clearly, my other games as well, where I was like, oh, I love playing reaction games, right? I love playing games that test my fast twitch muscle and my reaction ability. So like, Counter-Strike was one of them, Valorant, League of Legends, all of those things. I have a close friend that I chat with a lot with a vision problem, and they can't enjoy the same level of enjoyment in these things, can't catch up. It's just physically impossible for them to enjoy. But there are part of that reaction game where I feel that is enjoyable, that I want to share that enjoyment with. One of which is, for example, reacting with the knowledge of animation canceling. So if you were to tell yourself, how do I make a game that is not based on reaction, that incorporates the idea of reacting and making a choice of canceling a immutable action at a very specific time, right? So that's the kind of like the concept and the core of the game where you get to like express that. That's the humanness. That's like the wanting to share something with someone, whether it be like, oh, I want to share the joy of exploring, which is this joy of exploring and discovery through this form of game where anyone can play. Humanness, like, yeah, that. And then when you're using AI in this case, for example, like coding is not what makes that. Is the game idea, is the mechanic. So if I say this part is just going to be me typing a code, but then I know for a fact that small fragment of script can be done by AI, sure, I'll do it. And that doesn't necessarily make it an AI slop, right? So we do need to, I feel like, define clearly what is considered AI slop. And some people do have this like idea of like blanketed judgment of it. But it's also not unfounded, right? Because what's happening? Economically and sociologically speaking, the advent of AI has a lot of harm in the society in general. So if that's the thing that's important to you, then that's like something that you need to address. And if you're saying like, no, I mean, I feel like that's like an old thought. You have to just like accept it. Everything has that kind of harm. Then maybe you're not really hearing the conversation. Like, I'm just saying, this is just more than I hate it because people didn't make it, or like I think it's a slop because blah blah blah. Like, there's so much nuance to it that you have to be aware of. So it's just that when we are presenting it online in 15-second short video, you have to be extreme or else people scroll. So, you know, same thing with politics and all that. Let's see. That's my opinion. It's just an opinion, guys. Down the street says, gosh, down the street with the pregnancy. Down the street says, I personally use AI to make me pregnant. That just sounds inappropriate, okay? Nice Mice says, I get you, Zuzu. I think mixture of frequent small wins and knowledge, or knowing what your goals are, does help with that. Also good quality sleep. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Motivation all comes from restfulness, I think. Zuzu says, personally, I judge everything and everyone equally, so it's all good in the end. Exactly. I only judge people as much as I judge myself, so... and that's an argument, right? Kind of like this jaggedness on the crystal structure, so I'm going to add this. Anyways. All right. A lot of chatting today. Mind you, I haven't eaten anything all day today. And it's 3 p.m., so I probably should figure that out eventually. But let me add these items. We've just been doing a bunch of art, which is fine. And we're trying to do some visual updates. What we're going to do is we're going to make a item here called Heart Crystal. Heart Crystal item node. Oh, I think this music is kind of crazy to me, actually. I'm going to skip this. Heart Crystal item. Where is it? Heart. Then we'll do sprite here. Then attach a script, which extends the item node. Create. We'll call it Heart Crystal item node. Of course, he yells at me because it's an abstract class, which requires these functions. So we'll implement that real quick. Nothing here, nothing here. On pickup is going to probably activate based on how many we have, so I'll figure that out. Probably will have a static count for that. Ewa says, order food. I want to. Well, we'll figure that out. I like eating at a restaurant, so we'll see. Let's see. Nice Mice franchise. I like tackling small systems and bigger picture. Usama says, having artificial intelligence create a game, in my opinion, deprives a game of developers' creativity touch and diminishes its value in terms of emotion experience. Right. And that's, I think, what I was talking about of like, how much of your intention are you putting into it? And when you say you're using AI as help or aid in speeding up the process, is it truly that, or are you sucking the soul out of it? And I think that's important. Nice says, yeah, AI can be a powerful tool and productivity multiplier. The slop comes due to the ease of access is now being able to put something functional together with less care or skill behind it, in my opinion. True. Zuzu says, I have some leftover chicken. with rhubarb bechamel. You can come by a pix. I can come by in Germany. Or not Germany, God, Netherlands, I think. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Ziz, I already forgot where you live in. But yeah, I'll come by wherever it is. Nice says, but that has been a problem with pest technical. Yeah, always, always. With any advancement, people do their best to be lazy as irresponsibility as possible. You know what? This is not even the first time for game community. Okay, I'm going to talk about some quote unquote tech that slapped out everything. And there are two things. I mean, there are actually a lot, but there are two main things that happened in my generation or my life. First stop, in my opinion, was the open world. The concept of open world, right? So here's the thing. People who are trying to make a quick buck or trying to utilize the quick solution, the answer for all, always looks at the word and goes, what is the meaning of that? They didn't really study it. They just go, it sounds like this is the meaning of it, and they go for it. Open world was never about, well, here's everything you can do and the world, and you can walk around it and enjoy the beautiful scenery, right? It was never that. So then for a while, when first few good open world game came out, a lot of the AAA or indie developers were like, here's open world. And then like all the investors were investing in those games, and of course it flops. And we can call it as like, I hate it. Even though people who are excited about the open world experience because they've enjoyed it and they themselves don't know what they like about open world, would buy into it and buy the game and get disappointed. And they can't quite put their finger on what that means. Another one is procedurally generated game, right? Like when the indie game space was getting popular with the procedurally generated game, the whole point was that you can increase the number of experiences with as little implementation as possible. So it's time efficient for developers and it's helpful for indie games. And it's good for the players because they get new experiences. But there is a concept of procedurally generating things that just basically feels the same. It's random, it's new, but it feels the same. That means you didn't really study the DNA of what makes the experience feel different on every run. Yeah, that's like example of concept or technology. You're just misusing it for the quote unquote this hype. And that never works out, I feel. Sometimes you do, but mostly it doesn't. Let's see. Nice Mice franchise says, but that has been a problem with past technical advancement. Yes, true. Usama says, guess what country I'm from? My country begins with letter T. T? T? I don't know. I mean, you're clearly using Arabic or what the language. I don't know. Sorry, I'm ignorant to that. I don't know what it would be. Just tell me. Nice says, in my opinion, there's a difference between generating an entire game from a single prompt versus training your own in order to produce game art in a volume which would have been otherwise impossible. Both financially and practically, yeah. Well, financially, it's about to be more expensive. Thoughts on Rogue from 1980. Thoughts on Rogue. It's a game changer. It introduced a new concept. It was fun. It was difficult. But obviously, in terms of game design, it's kind of bad. That's my thought. North Africa, Tanzania. Well, I don't know why I say Tanzania. Tunisia. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Well, hello. Hi. From Tunisia. Am I saying it right? Tunisia or Tunisia? Maybe it's Tunisia. Nightpath says, every iteration of low or no code products opens the gate for more people to develop. However, these tools are easier for people who do still have the core coding skill. Yeah, exactly. I feel like it unlocks me in ways that is probably a lot more beneficial than some of the people with less experience, for sure. Wouldn't you agree? I think so. When I use it, I mean, I use it like a precision tool. For example, since we have like 30 new people here, I'll show you something. So I have a dialogue plugin, by the way, guys. I have a dialogue plugin that I release in GitHub. It's available, blah, blah, blah. It's good. It's one of the best product I have. in Godot. Since I started working now, obviously you can see the chat here. In my company, we're using Kira, which is a Claude wrapper, blah, blah, blah. And I have started to get used to it. I haven't used AI at all before this. So I started getting used to it, what it means to use it, blah, 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 how to unlock myself. So I was like, okay, well, this project I've been neglecting it for a long time. And finally, with the help of AI, I'm going to try to improve it. So I attempted something here. I said, well, I know for a fact that it has a lot of gaps. So first of all, I wanted to see what it does when I go, all right, go haywire, fix whatever you see as a problem, look at my intention, analyze it, blah, blah, blah. I let it do it, absolutely decimated it, broke everything. And then the problem is, because it had no guidance. Like, if the guidance was that, how does it tell what my intention was? It's just guessing at it, right? And the thing is, I already had a test case, but then the tests were run by running Godot engine. I had to go onto Godot, open the test scene, and play the test, which is manual, visual, and it's very human. So I had a thought of like, oh, you know what? Godot has a way to run headless version of the engine in order to run it in terminal for server logic. So I'm going to use that to run the test script so I can have a test result in the terminal. And so basically with that like idea in mind, I had the concept of, well, here's a test, here's the intention. Like I already had a test cases, which was done by me. I wrote all these lines to say, hey, this is the intention, here's the assertion. I designed the intention for this and said, let's make a headless version of this script run with this documentation. And it did it. And it now I have a headless test runner that is script based, and it runs, and it's GDScript. It's written in GDScript. It's a test that's written in GDScript that I can run from the terminal. Now that I have this, my AI tool can run this to check the intention and what it breaks and analyze based on this, which fixed everything. So this was 2 commit. 1 broke everything. I did another one where I came up with my own ideas to do the testing and then did this, blah, 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 and then run it. Precision, right? So I think that's kind of like where it gets to be like the difference between like people without the concept of doing this versus with the concept of doing this would probably have a very, very different experience, I think. But yeah. Let's see. I think I'm going to have a full heart crystal and then a fragmented heart crystal. So one to indicate how many of the bonuses we have versus one to indicate the progress of collecting a new one. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Let's see. Tunisia, yeah, right. Tunisia has crazy Roman ruins, right? Really? Oh my God, that sounds cool. I want to visit. Is it a good country to visit for people with no trip to Africa experience ever? I know some countries are just bad for traveling for people without experience. Usama says, yeah, many, many ruins. Nice Mice franchise says, in my opinion, the slop is node-based shader tools if there isn't a graphics programmer around that makes the artist-made shader actually performant. GD Unit does use the headless approach. It's nice, but what I do is to have a folder with scenes where I can test, maintain and fix individual components in isolation, plus keep my ugly dev codes. Yeah, true. That sounds like a good approach. I mean, we all have our approach. I think the point was that basically having some information, some knowledge that is informing a direction of where the AI goes helps a lot. But by the way, that's not even mentioning it. My viewers know this. I say this bazillion time. There's an economical issue of products. LLMs are models. They're owned. How it's run and how it's trained is owned by a company. This is assuming the company will never go under. And a lot of assumption is like it won't because it's run by a big company. A lot of monies are in it. People won't lose this much money for it. So there will always be like, it's like too big to fail type of situation. but that's not the case. We've seen in history that that happens. And plus, you can't help what it costs, right? So right now, the AI companies are private, and when they go public, they have to open their book. That means they have to prove that they are profitable. In order to do that, they have to increase the cost of the services. That's why Anthropic right now recently has decreased the number of tokens that give per program for the plans. They're increasing the cost of the plans to get to that point. Most of their money comes from big market owners, but even then they are doing the trade of the assets because it's so expensive. That is without considering the fact that the chips and the machines that they're using are degrading quickly because machines output so much heat, more than normal. So the machines are gonna go bad. They have to replace those parts. That means they need to have billions of dollar deal again with chip makers. Chip makers are not going to make it cheaper because it's going to show up as decline in revenue. So what do we do? I mean, that's just how it is. It's just like, it just doesn't seem like a safe place to bet everything. And something will happen. And so, if your only way to program is through AI, I think while you have this enjoyment, while you can enjoy it, do everything you can to use it to increase your knowledge, as opposed to just relying on it to make some money or whatever. Usama says, see Discord General. Why do you always do this? Oh, wow. Look at these ruins. That's pretty cool. So Romans, huh? I want to visit Roman ruin. That sounds fun. Nice Mice says, yeah, don't get dependent on some AI company, but this has been already been an issue with companies getting tied in with Azure. Yeah, AWS, so on, for sure. But here's the thing though, the difference is that things like AWS, things like Azure and cloud storage, they figured out the profitability for the company. Companies not struggling with the idea of, we're selling it so cheap, we're running out of money. Like, there is a business behind it, which is profitability. It costs less than what I'm charging. I mean, that's like the base behind all sales. Right now, reason they're internally pushing usage of AI is because they want to improve it so that it gets to a point of like, we don't need to make a new model, or we don't need to use so much resources in order to run it. And hoping that they get to that point. But then like, if they get to that point, there's no more innovation. So that means their product is locked in, their sales is locked in. Investors want future guidance. So if there is no quote unquote improvement, investors won't invest on you. They'll just go, okay, well, this is like a consistent value investment, and I expect to get certain amount of money, but I don't expect it to go blow up like 1,000 times or something. Hey, thanks for the sub on YouTube. Iggy or something like that. But yeah, just be careful. Just think about all this. It's more than just hating on it, or more than just being full on top of it. It's just the business implication. There's complexity of everything is really, really fascinating, I have to say. Heart crystal item node. This one is going to be heart fragment item node. And then this one is going to have sprite. And then also script, which does item node, create, heart fragment, item node. And this one will also copy this. So what we're going to do here, we're going to look at item, I think has item. Instead of has item, I think we got to say get item count. func get item count for the item specifically. And we'll do one of these things. We have has item by item name. By name. Here you go. I'm gonna find it. This is the item. And then before that, I can say if do not has item by item name, and say return 0. Otherwise, we're going to find the item. We're going to get the item count or something like that. I don't know how I'm doing this. Hold on. Gain item. I'm just pushing it to it. I see. Okay. Does it have count on it? I'm doing it on the UI, so I don't know how I'm doing it. I gotta figure that out. I gotta look at what I'm already doing here. Child item, UI here, item on UI. UI has a count. Let's see when I'm updating that and how I'm updating that. Count is being updated by... Oh, we're increasing it on item gain. So as soon as we get the item, we're increasing it. So we can get the count information actually from the UI directly. So maybe we'll do that. But yeah, let's see. Nice Mice says, oh, that's a different point to what I was saying. I focus really only on being careful with becoming dependent on the technical solution, understand the business plus risk implications you mentioned. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying there's just several angles to think about this, for sure. Several angles to think about this. Let's see. I think we're okay here. I'm gonna... I gotta be careful with how I'm doing the gain item. Gain, hold on. Game stat, gain item. Right now, gain item is just straight up calling it. We do the item gain to emit for the item itself. And that means the count will be off. We gotta get all the instances of the item, I think. So if item count will be just plus equals 1 for every time I see that name. Then we're gonna return the item count here. And basically when we're gaining the item itself here, the heart fragment item node, when we're picking it up, we go game stat, get item count by name, and then I can say this is the heart fragment, or call it heart fragments, and call this heart fragments item name. I think it lowercases it. Yeah. And save our count, and then we'll have constant full count equals 2 here, and basically if the count is greater than equal to the full count, which I guess it will never happen, we want to make it so that the heart crystal is gained. Game stat, gain item, and we're gonna get the instance of the heart fragment heart right here, and we'll just go simply instantiate like so. The only problem is that some of the components won't be instantiated because it hasn't been added as a tree. But when we do this, I think it's probably going to grab all those information probably. I could add it. Let me just take a look real quick. The item nodes, they got exports. So these are not part of the ready. These are exports. It might work. We'll see. It might work or it might not work, but we'll see. Let's see. So on heart fragment, we are on pickup, get the count. If it's bigger than the full count, we're going to gain a instantiated version of the heart crystal instead. And then heart crystal itself, when we're picking this up, we're going to say the max health will become greater. I want to see if it's being used anywhere else. So see if I have a functional thing that says increase max health. No, I don't. I have it reduced, but there it is. Okay, so we're going to do that. So on pickup, we're going to increase the heart fragments or heart count. We're going to do, when we get a full count, we're going to say game stat, remove items, or lose item, I guess. Is there a lose item? No, I don't. Okay, so I got to make that. So I'll say func lose item. And then we'll provide the item node here. And then it's just going to get all the items here for item in items. Then we'll say if item, we're going to do it the whole like name thing again. If the item name matches it, we're just going to simply remove it, which means we'll collect them. So our remaining items will be array of item nodes. Then basically we're going to do something here. Otherwise, we're going to do something here. And then we're going to replace the item itself to the remaining items here. Remaining items. Simply, this one we're just going to queue free. Because these are nodes, I don't want it to be hanging. I don't know where the errors are coming from. Items. It says there is already parameter named item. Oh, yeah, there is. Owned item. There you go. Matches the name of the item. Then we're going to push back the owned items. Then the items will be that. So we're going to lose all items here, all instances of items. So we're going to say lose item, and then it's going to be self. There it is. That should do it. I think. So the idea here is that if I collect enough heart fragments, it's going to turn into crystal heart. And next thing I need to do is I need to assign this heart crystal. Image handler will be this guy. Increase +1 max HP. Sprite itself will be Atlas. And then the Explorer nodes. Oh, shoot. I guess I should probably end stream here in a bit, though. Let me think. Let's see. Torby says, hello, I just got back from bike ride. You gotta have some exercise after sitting at a desk all day. It's true. I'm gonna be done with streaming in a bit, and I'll probably walk around. Do useful things with my body. Okay, I gotta save this. Forgot to save my art here. Export. Boom. And then I guess I should kind of do this. And then I can do that. Then do this. And then outline. Boom. Outline done. Save. Export. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lihux. By the way, before I'm getting close to ending stream for the day. If you enjoy what you're seeing today and you like to keep track with my game development journey and all that, and I'm having a little bit of inconsistent stream time nowadays because I just started a new work like 2 weeks ago, so it's only been 2 weeks. So I'm trying to figure out my new streaming schedule. So if that's something that you're interested in following along with, join Discord, and for sure, right now, stop what you're doing right now. If you haven't already, please go wishlist my game in the pinned comment. It helps a lot, even if you're not buying it. Yeah, I'm not quite leaving just yet, but I'm just giving you some time to do that before I abandon you to the wild, I guess. All right, let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be 0 here, 4 times 32, which is half of heart. And this is the fragment. Let's see, heart crystal item node fragment. Right, the crystal will be the second one. 32 here, 128 here. The fragment will be part of heart crystal, a fragment, maybe not fragments of heart crystal. Let's see. Nice Mice says, anyway, GD Script really is missing a set container for sure. I agree. Torby says, nice. Fixed my bike recently too. Crunching on game can make one too sedative. It's true. Sometimes you really do get focused, and it's really hard to tear yourself away from the kind of like the concept of like, ooh, I'm locked in. Because once you get locked in, like I could go for days, honestly. Unhealthy. But, you know, this is the gamer in me. I've done this. So, all right. So this is the heart fragment. Maybe it's kind of hard to tell that what it is. People might be like, what is that? Maybe that reflection right here is unnecessary. It looks nice isolated, but in the context of the game, it's a little confusing. So let me, for the sake of clarity, I'm just going to get rid of this here so that people can kind of tell what's going on. There you go. In the name of clarity. Oh, by the way, on Twitch, there's a lot of Twitch people here. Hey, Tsoali Huitzilopochtli. Obviously, I'm saying it wrong. Thanks for the follow. I also have a YouTube channel. I have a plan right now. I do Godot series, a lot of it. GD script, devlog, game design, technical design tutorials. My next ones that I'm trying to do is art for non-artists, pixel art for non-artists, art fundamentals, and also voice as always. Casually butchering names. It's not true. I get it right more than other people, I think. Yeah, so pixel art for non-artists, basic art concept that you need to know before learning pixel art, everything you need to know about art. And then also I'm trying to finish out my dungeon generation tutorial series and then the devlog for this, obviously. So yeah, look forward to fun stuff out here. All right, let's see. Torpy says, "Woo, chicken! If you know Gabrielle Iglesias, you know. All right. Thanks for streaming and take care. And thanks for your feedback answers. No problem. I love chatting. Yeah, that is so true. Getting locked in and not getting up. Yeah, exactly. Wait, so I should get time to make compilation. Hey, if you have time to do that, I would appreciate it. Honestly, like, you know, helps with the content making business out here. Let's see if this works though. Okay, I did the item. I did this picture. It's going to become something. It's going to lose itself. So let's see. On the dialogue itself, I'm gonna get my quest here for the dialogue for Sanctuary. Instead of this, we're gonna say +1 heart crystal fragment. Choose your reward, heart crystal fragment. Instead of this, we're gonna give, when I see health there on the script for the dialogue, let's see, boop. We'll say game stat, gain item, and then we're going to provide the instance of heart crystal fragment, instantiate. Not sure if this will completely break it. So the biggest concern I have with this approach is that the whole on ready won't work. But we'll see. Boop. Let's see how that goes. All right, let's get that and see if I get a little breakage. Nice Mice says, oh, another Wave Collapse enjoyer. So for the Dungeon Maker series, I've done BSP so far. Binary Partition. I did Cellular Automata. We did the Drunkard's Walk. And then recently we did the Delaunay's Triangulation along with, so graph making with Delaunay's Triangulation plus minimum spanning map plus cycling back to create this map. And I'm doing this series because at the end of the day, I want to say, here is a template slash plugin for dungeon generation that you can download. And so the next one is Wave Function Collapse, which I'm going to use on this for generating the visual of the map. So yeah, Wave Function Collapse enjoyer I will soon be. And then I got to do Perlin noise generation. And then I'm going to do some corridor connection tutorials and all that. So that's something that's on the horizon. Let's see. Tori says, one time I was making a game for 6 hours straight without getting up. Ooh, that blood pooling can be bad. I was 12, so that was not good. Torby also says, Ezra, will you be having a demo for Journey? I will. Right now what I'm making is I'm trying to get to a point of having a free demo. However, if you join my Discord, I will be releasing the first playtest demo for the community first before I publicly release it so that I can do playtesting. So yeah. Nice Mice says, I could play with Legos that long. Problem is, if you don't do any exercise or movement afterwards or beforehand for getting drink enough water. Yeah. It's really bad. Torby also said, bro, just said drunk and uncle at the same time. Drunkards walk. The real Spanglish right there. I didn't know that was even a Spanglish. Yeah, of course. My first spoken language is Spanish, as you can see, obviously. All right. So what I'm expected to happen, which I don't think will happen, is if I choose a heart crystal. Oh my gosh, it did happen. Hey, yo. Okay. Let me collect one more heart crystal and see if it removes itself and then become a whole heart. Heck yeah. It's good to see things working. Fragment of a heart crystal. All right, cool. If so, hey, we implemented a feature today. It's very sick. Very sick. Isn't this crazy? Isn't this cool? We love programming, don't we? It's so satisfying to see things work at the end of the day. All right. Ooh, I found a rest site. Torby says, will the Discord beans to make suggestion for changes? Huh? Beans? Hold on, I don't think we can say that. I can't say that. Okay, I just collected 2, but it didn't turn into a full heart. Full count. If the count is greater than the full count, I wanted to do this, but it didn't work. Let's try that again. I think I made it so that you can revisit it. So at least for testing, this would be good. Oh, nothing happens. Is it because I already have it? Oh, unpickup is not running for gaining like that. Oh, okay. 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 I'm just gonna implement it right here directly. I'm just gonna call unpickup. From the dialogue. Is this the best way to do it? No. No. It's never best way to do it. There you go. And then pass game stat. Like so. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to go do it. I don't know if that will be hot loaded or not. We'll see. Okay, right there. Resume. Right there. Cool. Boom. Yes! It works! All right, we're good. We're good. And then did it increase my HP? No, it didn't. Because I got to do the on pickup again. I made a mistake of... Honestly, I should have done the on pickup here. But right now, if I do it, it's gonna trigger twice. Because I'm pretty sure I'm running this on the map itself. Yeah. Let's see. And not on the game. On the... There it is. Item, explore map. Pickup item. And I'm doing that. I think... Because on pickup is picking up not necessarily means that it will be gained. Because there's two different things. There's on pickup and there's on gain. Which is two different things. I might have to fix this later. But for now, it's going to be bad. But I'm going to do this. Where... on heart fragment, when I'm gaining, I'm going to also heart crystal item node will be this, and then gain this guy, and then run on pickup. Game stat. So tightly coupled. Do not do this ever. But here we are. Hey Foha, long time no see. I'm about to leave actually, but I appreciate you being here. Will the okay, not beans. I mean able. Okay. Will the Discord able to make suggestion for changes? Yeah. When I make so I have Dreader on Rival, the suggestion channel, so I probably will have another one. I do have a suggestion channel in general, so you can make it there too. But yeah. Nice says, that's the small wins I was talking about, when number go up when expected and not when not expected. Exactly. That's the beauty of programming things yourself. And you get to gruel over the pain of figuring out, debugging, feeling smart, and then finally arriving. Now that's ecstasy if I've ever seen one. Right? Right, everyone? Because we are familiar with that experience. Anyways... Void, hey, like, clip me if you want to. Make clips for me. I love that. I would be very helpful for my, career. Everybody's encouraged to make clips of me. Take this weekend. Everybody, your job right now, even though it's your first time seeing me in this Discord or whatever, this channel. You're not committed, but I'm making you committed. You are my viewers now. We are family. And family means what? Family means they make clips for each other. Exactly. That's exactly what it means. Okay, so I gained the heart, but didn't lose the heart fragment. So we need to fix that later. But either way, the max health has increased. So that's a bonus. We are good to go here. Let's, for us, this family means argument. Well, you can argue by making clips. How about that? I think that's a great idea. Torby says, make a clip of the address. No, not that. Not that. Why do you have a white background? Doesn't that hurt your eyes? I like light mode. Dark mode is nice, but dark mode feels a little too edgy sometimes. I feel like a teenager when I like dark mode sometimes. Anyways, well, thanks for watching, everyone. It's time to go. Hey, Meadowline is back on, or Meadowlin, and they rated me last time, so I think it's time to give back to the raiders, right? Let's see. Foss, it's good to see you. I'll check in earlier times soon. Yeah, no problem. Voice says, have a good one, as yeah. Bye, everyone. Well, as usual, I'm gonna rate first, and then say bye to YouTube. But here we are. We're going to Twitch, raid, Meadowlin. I think I was Meadowlin. All right. That's good. As soon as that lands, I'll say goodbye to YouTube.